Hi, I'm Heather Moore, and this is the Cable News Roundup for July 27th. I'll start with Fox News and the O'Reilly factor. Senator Ted Cruz criticized Mitch McConnell. Cruz says Planned Parenthood should lose all government funding, and that case law, which would give a minimum of 5 years in prison to any undocumented workers who were deported from the U.S. and then returned, that this law is not being pushed through fast enough. O'Reilly defends McConnell, saying that he did not want these issues attached to the highway bill. This bill would give $350 billion to roadways, and that McConnell wants the highway bill to pass without problem. Mike Huckabee criticized the president's nuclear weapons deal with Iran. He says the president is marching Israelis towards the doors of the ovens, suggesting that this treaty will lead to Nazi-era ethnic cleansing of Jews. President Obama says these comments would be considered ridiculous if they weren't so sad. Huckabee is a guest. He defends himself by using pathos and inventing facts. Donald Trump is the Republican presidential frontrunner. On the Kelly Files, she talks about Mike Huckabee comments about the Iran nuclear deal and the Holocaust. One guest says he's right, the other says he's wrong. The headline is President Obama attacks Huckabee over Holocaust reference. So it's pretty clear that the show supports the presidential candidate. Kelly criticizes the Black Lives Matter movement. Some people see the campaign as only Black Lives Matter. She believes that Black Lives Matter means that white lives don't matter. She says the Black Lives Matter movement may protest and disrupt the Republican presidential debate. On Hannity, he says Donald Trump is right when it comes to border control because he believes undocumented workers are dangerous criminals. Chris Christie is a guest. He's mostly just denouncing President Obama as a failure because of border control and the Iran nuclear deal. They both say that Iranians are chanting death to America in the streets and that their political rhetoric is just peppered with anti-Semitism and promises of wiping Israel off the face of the map. Ted Cruz calls the Obama administration the leading financier of state-sponsored terrorism. The president said that's ridiculous. And Ted Cruz was on to, quote, fire back at President Obama's attack. It was absolute garbage. And Donald Trump had a long interview about why he's the best choice for the next president. Switching over to MSNBC, all in with Chris Hayes, Jeb Bush says Trump's statements on immigration are vulgar, and Bush did an interview with Telemundo in Spanish, distancing himself from Trump. He talks about the New York Magazine cover story that features 35 of the 46 women who have publicly accused Bill Cosby of sexual assault. And Hayes is opposed to Huckabee's statement that the Iran nuclear deal will lead to a Jewish Holocaust. The Rachel Maddow Show. The Republican presidential debate can only have 10 people on the stage. The top 10 will be decided by Fox News. Maddow reports that the margin of error makes it impossible to decisively say who is in the top 10. She talks about Bernie Sanders favorably and Donald Trump unfavorably. Turkey is allowing the United States to stage attacks on ISIS from its territory. The last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Sandra Bland died in a jail cell. O'Donnell interviews the family and asks them questions like, what was the funeral like with the loss of your sister? Ugh. He and his guests are deeply critical of Mike Huckabee's comments that the Iran nuclear deal will march Israel to the doors of the oven. So now you know.